Samus is an OG character to Super Smash Bros. Samus or Spamus, whatever you want to call her. Okay, I tried. That was a stupid pun. Please subscribe. I gotta be honest, as a kid, I had no idea what even Samus was, and I thought she was possibly a robot. Can you imagine when I realized that Samus was actually a girl? And she is a character with a lot of die-hard fans. People who support the Metroid franchise give a lot of love to Samus, and it's rightfully deserved. The series has been dealt a bad hand throughout the years, which is kind of funny when the devs of Project M 3.6 gave her the most amount of alternate costumes in the game. In Project M, she got a lot of goodies, so stay tuned for that part. And in Melee, Samus plays very differently from how she would in future Smash games. In Melee, she's incredibly tanky, floaty, and not really super combo-centric, but yet is a really strong character. Some of you are probably thinking, what the f are you talking about? This is Melee, everyone has a blip and they fly across the stage like it's an anime. Samus is a different change of pace in the Melee meta for sure. So while some characters have Stomp Knee, Samus has Down Throw, Fully Charged Shot, or more like Down Throw, Please Don't Punish Me, This Grab Sucks. If you ever want to challenge Samus in scrapping, she has plenty of tools to break out of it and hit you back for even attempting to go toe-to-toe with her. She's a really good defensive character. Now here's something you guys might find interesting. Back in the prehistoric times of Melee, aka when the game came out in 2001, comment below if you were alive back then, people actually highly praised Samus in the early days of Melee, back when people didn't know what shield dropping was and Sheik was the best character in the game. Samus was seen as mostly a low-tier character in the Smash 64 days, so the buffs they gave the character in Melee were noticed right away, and immediately people started picking up the character. Samus was ranked around 6th to 9th in the very early days of Melee's meta, and this was mainly because of her improved projectile game and additional combos and better recovery compared to the 64 counterpart. However, as the years went by, other characters got more developed, like the space animals, Jigglypuff, Marth, just to name a few. Characters also started to play around her projectile game and pretty much find out ways to shut her down, and this resulted in Samus dropping from her once high-tier spot to being a mid-tier. Some people think, oh, she probably would drop a little bit further in the tier list because even less people play her these days. Right now, she sits at 11th at the B+ tier, which is a decent mid-tier. Now, what are her positives? She is by far one of the tankiest characters in all of Melee, arguably up there with Peach in defensiveness. And also another Peach similarity is they both have really busted down smashes, who would have thought? Samus can also spam crouch just like Peach does. Kidding, or maybe not. They can literally beat a lot of characters' approaches though, just straight up just with crouch cancel down smash. It's a very popular technique with both characters, which is really good with Samus because of how heavy she is as a character. So yeah, when in doubt, just spam crouch cancel, baby. She's also unique as a projectile defined character because of her vast amounts of projectiles that she has in her kit. Side B has two different versions of the attack. If the move is held down, you get a stronger version that's more powerful, while a slight tap, you get a homing version of the attack that is weaker. Side B allows also for missile camping, and you can control neutral very well on stages like Battlefield by just spamming side B for days. And down B is normally used as a recovery tool, and some Samus mains call this one of the most underrated moves in her kit because, I mean, look at this stuff. This is high-level Samus play right here. While some people think down B is kind of overrated, there's some Samus mains that think this move is not developed to its full potential, but we'll have to see, I guess. Charge Shot is obviously an incredible move when fully charged. It's easily Samus' strongest attack in her kit. Up B is a great get-off-me tool, and it's super good on stages like Yoshi's Story because you can use the platforms to benefit you and not having as much lag on the attack. Her defensiveness is also complementary to her relatively strong aerials, except for up air, that move kind of sucks. Back air hits like a dump truck. Down air also is a crazy move off stage, although it is nerfed from how good it was in Smash 64. It's still pretty decent in Melee. And also Nair. Nair is just a crazy strong move. It's great at comboing or even edge guarding. It beats recoveries. This is easily one of the best aerials that Samus has. Her jab is also a great move for starting exchanges due to how quick the attack is. Her smash attacks are also really strong, except for, again, up smash kind of sucks as well. It's kind of a meme move, but it is there. Tilt and down tilt are great tools for breaking recoveries and stopping approaches. She is generally a character with very unique techniques like being able to super wave dash, as she's the only character in the game that can do that. Extended grappler, which allows Samus to grab from further distances, although it is removed once Samus loses a stock. Samus's negatives are her lack of approach options without her projectiles. Her grab is one of the most laggiest grabs in the game and is super easy to punish. She's also just highly susceptible to being comboed in general due to how floaty floaty and heavy the character is. Her roll is also really terrible. It's extremely slow and it leads to it being really dangerous to use. But Samus does have a lot of positives and easily one of the most offensive characters in the game, and that alone can really catch a lot of people off guard. Again, when in doubt, just spam crouch cancel down smash with Samus. Kidding, or maybe not. Samus in Project M received many buffs and changes to her overall character, mainly taking inspiration tonally from the Melee iteration and being given buffs on top of that. So that means she's still a heavyweight character, she's still floaty, and surprise surprise, she can still crouch cancel down smash, yippee. But now her moveset is more dense than it's ever been before, so stay tuned for that part. In my opinion, if you've played Melee Samus, you're probably going to like Project M Samus. They're essentially the same character archetype with many of the same combos and attacks, so I'm not necessarily going to go over every single intricacy that started from Melee because you already know it's probably in Project M too. She still has an amazing recovery thanks to bomb jumps, grappling, and wall jumping. Up special is still kind of limited as a recovery tool, but she has plenty of other tools to offset it. One of the new gifts Samus was given is she's now one of the few characters in PM with a crawl attack. Samus can actually roll around in her morph ball, which is actually kind of funny, and do a crouch attack, so this is definitely a reference to the Metroid games. This attack can extend combos, it makes her hurt box smaller, and honestly it's one of the coolest things that PM added to the character, which is just the tip of the iceberg of the just straight up badass things that PM added. If it wasn't obvious, there was a lot of Metroid fans on the PM development team, because this is the next part where it's probably going to blow your mind if you don't know this stuff or you aren't familiar with PM. Okay, Samus is definitely cool in PM, but I don't know if you felt her Metroid moveset wasn't entirely represented correctly in Smash, and it feels like she's kind of missing something. Well, if you feel that way, Samus is the only character in the entire game that can unlock a new arsenal of attacks with the tap of the side taunt. But yes, I know Zelda and Sheik exist, just shut up, okay? Just let honest content have his moment. Samus can essentially become Ice Samus in this game. It's actually pretty rad. This mod was just overall ahead of its time, and now a lot of Samus mains are split on Ice mode. It's still a nice inclusion indeed. I will give the PM team credit, they could have made Ice mode really busted and dummy broken and outshine the OG Plasma mode. Now some people call it Fire mode, but just know Fire mode and Plasma mode are the same thing. They didn't overstep Samus's overall archetype, and I really respect that. To me, it just adds a different flavor to her overall character, and it's a really nice addition. However, there is two camps. There's one camp of people that think Ice mode is worse than Plasma mode and you shouldn't even touch it, and then there's some people that think Ice mode is really underdeveloped, which is the camp I tend to fall into. But it should be noted, Ice mode was one of the things that was heavily buffed in Project Plus, so if you don't want to experiment with it, it's actually much stronger now than it's ever been before. Now, what exactly does it do? What is Ice mode's purpose? Ice mode is essentially the yin to Plasma mode's yang. Plasma mode up smash is pretty terrible, especially in Melee, but in Ice mode, oh my god, it is strong. Down throw up smash is a great KO confirm for this attack, and I also must say the animation for this move is just chef's kiss. It's just that good. Plasma mode forward air is known for not being a KO move, but in Ice mode, it is a total glow up. It's just a give me your lunch money type of punch in the face. Ice mode forward air really hurts, man. It's super strong. I love this move. I don't even play Samus, but this move is just cool. And while this isn't the case for every move in the Ice moveset, Plasma mode forward smash is definitely better than Ice mode forward smash. Plasma down tilt is definitely better at starting combos, but Ice down tilt is pretty good at starting conversions from far away or poking. Generally, most people prefer Plasma missiles because the Ice missiles don't go nearly as far and are slightly weaker. But yes, the remote Ice missiles does deal more percent and doesn't explode, so there is some use to it, I guess. Her rolls, of all things, remember this shitty thing? It got buffed in PM and it's now much faster and is more in line with the rest of the cast, and her grab is now faster, more in line with Link's buffed grab in PM. Super Wave Dash is easier to do in Project M and is more a part of her kit. And now overall, how does this affect the meta of Project Plus? The Project Plus meta is incredibly close. There isn't extreme drop-offs in character viability like there is in Brawl or Melee, as any character can really be played at a top level. So Samus is probably one of the most underrated characters in PM. She's bottom 7 currently right now in the C tier. This is most mostly because Project Plus is really competitive and the meta is constantly changing. She also still suffers from a lot of the same weaknesses the character had in Melee because she's staying really true to that version of the character. And she is not a terrible character for sure, but she still has roughly the same spot she had in Melee, just in Project M. I think Samus is definitely underrated. There's maybe a possibility she could go up in the future, but we're just gonna have to see.